Let's face it, folks. We all love a good swim, especially when the sun is blazing and the heat is almost unbearable. There's nothing quite like the feeling of cool water against your skin, the sense of weightlessness, and the pure joy of splashing around. But have you ever stopped to think about where you're swimming? On a scorching summer day, a reservoir can look pretty darn inviting. The sun glistening off the surface, the gentle ripples, and the promise of a refreshing dip can be almost irresistible. It's easy to see why so many people are drawn to these bodies of water. That cool, shimmering water just beckons you to jump in. You might imagine yourself floating lazily, feeling the stress melt away. But there's a lot more beneath the surface than meets the eye. But don't be fooled. Reservoirs are like those deceptively strong cocktails. They look refreshing, but they pack a punch that can knock you down for good. The signs are there for a reason, and ignoring them can have serious consequences. We're talking about hidden dangers, the kind that can turn a fun swim into a life-or-death struggle. Underwater currents, sudden drop-offs, and unseen debris can all pose significant risks. These hazards aren't always visible from the surface, making them even more dangerous. So before you even think about taking a dip in a reservoir, listen up. It's crucial to understand the risks involved. Take a moment to read the signs, assess the area, and consider the potential dangers. Your safety should always come first. This ain't your grandma's swimming pool. Unlike a controlled environment with lifeguards and clear water, reservoirs are unpredictable and often unmonitored. The water might look calm, but it can hide powerful currents and other hazards that can catch even the strongest swimmers off guard. When you swim in a pool, you have the assurance of safety measures in place. Lifeguards are on duty, the water is treated and clean, and the depth is clearly marked. Pools are designed for recreation with your safety in mind. Reservoirs, on the other hand, are not designed for swimming. They serve a different purpose, such as water storage or flood control, and can be filled with all sorts of hazards. The water can be murky, hiding debris and sudden changes in depth. The currents can be unpredictable and strong, making it difficult to swim back to safety. Emergency responders often have to deal with accidents and rescues at reservoirs. These situations can be dangerous not just for the swimmers, but also for the rescuers. It's a risk that can be easily avoided by choosing to swim in safer designated areas. So next time you're tempted by the allure of a reservoir, think twice. Consider the risks and make the safer choice. There are plenty of safe, enjoyable places to swim where you can relax and have fun without putting yourself in danger. Remember, the goal is to have fun and stay safe. Choose your swimming spots wisely and always prioritize your safety and the safety of those around you. That way, you can enjoy the water without any worries. You jump into the reservoir expecting a refreshing dip. The sun is shining and the water looks inviting. But as soon as you hit the water, a shock runs through your body. Suddenly, you can't breathe. Your chest tightens, and panic sets in. The cold water feels like it's squeezing the air out of your lungs. You try to take a breath, but it's as if your body has forgotten how. This is cold water shock, and it's no joke. When your body hits cold water, it triggers an involuntary gasp reflex. This can cause you to inhale water instead of air, leading to immediate drowning. Reservoir water stays cold year-round, even in summer. The surface might feel warm, but just a few feet below, the temperature can drop drastically. This sudden change can catch even experienced swimmers off guard. Your body isn't ready for that kind of shock. The cold water constricts your blood vessels, making it harder for your heart to pump blood. This can lead to hyperventilation, where you start breathing rapidly and uncontrollably. The sudden plunge can cause your breathing to become rapid and uncontrolled. You might start to hyperventilate, which only makes the situation worse. Your body is trying to get more oxygen, but the cold water makes it nearly impossible. Your muscles can seize up, making it impossible to swim. The cold water causes your muscles to contract and stiffen, leaving you unable to move. Even if you were a strong swimmer in warm water, the cold can render you helpless. In just minutes, you can drown. The combination of cold water shock, hyperventilation, and muscle failure can lead to drowning in a matter of minutes. It's a terrifying and silent killer. Don't underestimate the power of cold water. It's a silent killer. Always be cautious when swimming in reservoirs or any body of cold water. Wear a life jacket and never swim alone. Your life could depend on it. Think reservoirs have calm waters? Think again. Beneath that placid surface lurk powerful currents that can sweep you away in an instant. These aren't your typical ocean currents. We're talking about currents created by pumps and pipes hidden deep underwater. You can't see them, you can't predict them, and they can be incredibly strong. One minute you're swimming along, the next you're being pulled under by an unseen force. It's a terrifying situation that can turn deadly in seconds. What you can't see can definitely hurt you, especially in a reservoir. These man-made lakes are often full of hidden hazards. We're talking about submerged trees, old machinery, and even concrete structures lurking below. All it takes is one wrong move and you could get tangled up, trapped, or seriously injured. And don't forget about the weeds, they can be deceptive. Those seemingly harmless plants can grow thick and strong, entangling swimmers and pulling them under. It's a recipe for disaster waiting to happen. Section 5: Slippery Slopes. The peril of steep reservoir banks. Getting into a reservoir is often easier than getting out. Many reservoirs have steep banks that are slippery and unstable. One minute you're wading in, the next you're sliding down a muddy slope, unable to gain your footing. And if you do manage to grab hold of something, it might just be algae, which is about as helpful as holding onto a wet bar of soap. It's a recipe for panic, exhaustion, and ultimately, tragedy. Section 6: Deeper Than You Think. The deceptive depths of reservoirs. Don't let the surface fool you. Reservoirs can be incredibly deep, with depths that change dramatically in just a few feet. One minute you're wading in knee-deep water, the next you're in over your head. These sudden drop-offs can catch even experienced swimmers off guard, leading to panic and drowning. Remember, you're not in a swimming pool with a gradual slope. This is a whole different beast. Many reservoirs are located in remote areas far from help and civilization. These places, often nestled deep within forests or surrounded by rugged terrain, offer a sense of tranquility and escape from the hustle and bustle of urban life. The serene environment, the calm waters, and the picturesque landscapes make them ideal spots for those seeking solitude and a connection with nature. That's part of their appeal, right? The peace and quiet, the opportunity to unwind, to listen to the sounds of nature, and to enjoy a moment of reflection without the interruptions of modern life. It's a chance to disconnect from technology, to leave behind the noise and stress of daily routines, and to immerse oneself in the beauty of the natural world. But that isolation can quickly turn against you if something goes wrong. The very remoteness that makes these reservoirs so appealing can also make them dangerous. If you find yourself in an emergency situation, whether it's a sudden injury, a medical condition, or an unexpected accident, the lack of nearby help can be a serious problem. If you get into trouble, there might not be anyone around to hear your cries for help. The isolation means fewer people are present, and the vast distances can make it difficult for your voice to carry. Even if you have a phone, signal reception in these remote areas can be unreliable, leaving you without a way to call for assistance. And even if someone does hear you, it could take a long time for emergency services to reach you. The challenging terrain and the distance from urban centers mean that response times can be significantly delayed. In critical situations, every minute counts, and the time it takes for help to arrive can make a crucial difference. Time is critical in a water emergency, and in a remote reservoir, time is not on your side. The ticking clock can be a stark reminder of the urgency of the situation. Whether it's a drowning incident, hypothermia, or another water-related emergency, the delay in receiving help can have severe consequences. It's important to be aware of these risks and to take precautions when visiting remote reservoirs. Always let someone know your plans, carry necessary safety equipment, and be prepared for the unexpected. Let's be real, folks. Most reservoirs don't have lifeguards. You're on your own out there. No one's watching you. No one's there to jump in if you get into trouble. That's a lot of responsibility to shoulder when you're just trying to cool off on a hot day. In a swimming pool or a designated swimming area, you have a safety net. In a reservoir, you're swimming without a net, and the consequences can be dire. You can't always see it, but it can make you very sick. Blue-green algae, a type of bacteria, thrives in warm, still water like reservoirs. This stuff produces toxins that can cause skin rashes, stomach cramps, vomiting, and even liver damage. And here's the kicker, you can't always tell if it's present just by looking at the water, so you could be swimming in a toxic soup and not even know it until it's too late. Look, I get it, swimming is fun, it's a great way to cool off and enjoy the outdoors, but it's just not worth risking your life in a reservoir. There are so many other safer options out there. Swimming pools, lakes with designated swimming areas, Beaches with lifeguards. Choose life. Choose safety. Choose to swim where you can enjoy the water without worrying about the hidden dangers lurking beneath the surface. Trust me, your life is worth more than a quick dip in a reservoir.